បាទសូមជម្រាបសួរបងប្អូនទាំងអស់គ្នាខ្ញុំឈ្មោះវឌ្ឍនៈវង្សសេរីវឌ្ឍនៈបាទហើយនៅក្បែរខ្ញុំនេះគឺនិស័យបាទជាអតីតមិត្តអឺរៀនជាមួយគ្នាមកពី IFL ហើយកម្មវិធីរបស់យើងនឹងធ្វើជាភាសាអង់គ្លេសចឹងអនុញ្ញាតឲ្យខ្ញុំចាប់ផ្ដើមដោយភាសាអង់គ្លេសហើយពួកយើងនឹងជជែកគ្នាជា Right now it's oh my gosh what time is it Nisai This is like 10, 15 a quarter. I'm going to have Nisai to introduce himself, but I just wanted to let everybody know that this podcast episodes is about youth development. Now, I oversee a non-profit, and it's called Living Water Farm. We run the projects to serve community. We serve farmers. We serve young people with educational program, computers, and some trainings. And yeah, with the computer skills and soft skills to support the economic growth in a rural area. And you can check it out www.livingwaterfarm.org, and that you can find us there. And yeah, this podcast topic we come up with the journey from a rural province to master degree in Australia is Australian award and professions impress international stage, and that's the topic. And sitting across me or next to me, a handsome man from Siem Reap, and I can't wait to listen to him. And so why don't you introduce yourself, Nisai, to help us understand a little bit about yourself.
Jumrip everyone, and thank you, Bong Watanak, for having me today. And my name is Nisai. I believe Bong Watanak already introduced myself to the audience, and I'm currently the editor-in-chief of a local media outlet known as Cambodian. I think it is affiliated with a Khmer language version, Thmai Media. And actually, I graduated from with 2 bachelor degree, one in public administration from Royal University of Law and Economics, and the second one is Petbong Watana in international study from Institute of Foreign Languages, Royal University of Phnom Penh. And of course, my recent degree is a master degree in Asian and the Pacific Study from the Australian National University, and I got a scholarship under Australian Award. So this is my background. I just returned. It has been 3 months so far, getting back to work, and that's myself. Then trying to get back to work, coping with stress, and of course, you understand that being a journalist is adding another layer of complexity and stress to the regular works.
Wow, your English is amazing. Thank you for helping us understand. Let's just jump back to the beginning from Siem Reap, okay? When did you move to Phnom Penh, Nisai, if you don't mind me asking? When did you move to Phnom Penh?
Well, I actually finished my high school in Siem Reap in 2010.
Okay.
And I moved to Phnom Penh because I got another scholarship. I mean, a state scholarship in public administrations, and I decided that I need to come because back then I was very enthusiastic about becoming a public servant. So being a part of the
government.
I think the government, but mostly a local government in terms of like maybe working at the district or commune if I got a chance to do so. But after that, my interest and then passion developed, and it turned out to be something else. And at the same time, besides taking a bachelor degree in public administration, I also took another degree in international studies.
With so you were doing 2 degrees at the same time, right? When you moved to the city.
Yeah. But actually because of my English, I could not get into the degree immediately because
Mm-hmm.
I could not actually pass the entrance exam at IFL
Mm.
because it was tough, and
Mm-hmm.
then my English is was remain, I think, was back then
Mm-hmm.
poor, and I need
Yes.
to spend some time to develop and make sure that I could pass the entrance exam, and then I could do it of 2 years after I came to Phnom Penh. I mean, I actually finished the degree 2 years after I finished the one at Royal University of Law and Economics. So 2 years after
Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
I finished my bachelor degree in international study.
Mm. Okay.
So that's the story.
Yeah.
That's my story when I
About
moved to
14
Phnom
years
Penh.
ago, right? You moved to
Yes,
Phnom
14
Penh
years ago.
14
But
years ago. Was that your
yeah,
first
long story.
time? Was it your first time, or you had been to the capital city before that?
I've been to Phnom Penh
You didn't find it new, right? You didn't
many,
really
many,
find it
yeah, but it's not many times, but I think maybe a couple times
a couple
before
of
that. But
times. What
yeah,
was
because my brother came to Phnom Penh before
mm-hmm.
me,
Yes.
like 2 years earlier. So I actually understood how life in Phnom Penh was
Mm-hmm.
like, and then
Mm-hmm.
when I came, I stayed with him. That's the
Right, right.
story.
So you had your brother probably helping you to settle
Yeah,
down in the
settled.
life in
Yeah,
the city. Okay.
that's
If you
right.
could tell us some of the uh, major challenges when you first moved to the city, what would those be?
Well, I think the challenge maybe because I think mostly it's about myself because
Mm-hmm.
when I came here 14 years ago, I
Yeah.
only know how to get to from my home to school. I didn't
Mm.
actually spend
Yes.
other time changing roads or streets. So I just go
Yeah. Yeah.
on and on repeatedly going to the same using the same road because
Mm-hmm.
I was afraid of getting lost. Then
Mm.
it was my own personal fear, the
Yes.
fears that came with me when I because well I think I was young back then, and then it's really hard to challenge yourself going to different places that you never know before, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like
Mm-hmm.
I could not do it, and it always the case for many people I believe, but I know that we need to overcome that. I know many young people right now came, coming to capital city like Phnom Penh despite the busyness and despite the it big inside, they
Mm-hmm.
continue to travel to different places,
Yeah.
getting familiarized with the streets and so on. But for me, the big challenge is that, and then after that, I think the language proficiency, I would
Mm.
say, coming to study at the university from the province, and you know a little bit about English, and
Mm-hmm.
you could not actually do well as your friends who actually have their study backgrounds in foreign languages for
Mm-hmm.
years before
Mm-hmm.
you could
Mm-hmm.
do the same. So I think that the most challenging, and then making friends with other people. I might be friendly sometimes, but it's also
You
hard for
are.
me
I think
to
you're a
approach
friendly
people.
person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it take a lot of courage. I
Yes,
think
yes.
it take a
Yeah.
lot of times to develop your skill.
Mm-hmm.
Some
Mm-hmm.
people were born with it, but for me, it's different.
That's back. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's really important that
Mm-hmm.
people do it, no matter because in school, I believe many of us will meet different friends. Some are really lazy,
Mm-hmm.
some are outstanding, and some might not have I think some sort of behavior that you want to be around. But I think they have different strength and weakness. Believe
Mm-hmm.
me,
Mm-hmm.
it's a
Mm-hmm.
great.
Yeah. Nisai,
You might see something different. Yep.
yeah, yeah. Nisai, I see some young people who come to the city for education purpose. Some some young people don't like how we operate things here. I mean, in the capital city, yes, there are many opportunities, jobs and high quality of education. But on the negative side, there are people who don't like all of that, like traffic jams and cost of livings and everything, and They just give up. Had you ever had that kind of feeling, wanted to go back to Siem Reap?
Well, I think it was not 14 years ago. It was not 10 years ago, but
Mm-hmm.
it is now when the city getting busier with
Mm.
many people having their own vehicle like
Mm-hmm.
cars
Mm-hmm.
and so on with the limited availability of public transportation.
Mm-hmm.
And we could see that life in the city is increasingly stressful. And I know that not just me, but many people feel the same, trying to get out of the city, getting fresh air, going somewhere that you never had this kind of life before. So it was not 14 years ago, but it's now when I know that this is important to reconsider what we actually want to achieve, because regardless of how much we achieve in terms of development, it's about taking care of the well-being of the people,
Mm-hmm.
like taking into account what people need in particular. For example,
Mm-hmm.
addressing the traffic jams, how you limit the number of vehicles on the street, encouraging them to use something else instead of
Mm-hmm.
going out using
Yeah.
their own personal vehicle, and then building more parks, establishing more gardens, and of course
Yep.
keeping a space that people could actually roaming around enjoying life, because they need both the balance in terms of well-being and
Mm-hmm.
life. So
Mm-hmm.
if the city could not fulfill the need, the basic need, I
Yeah.
believe people will feel the same, especially
Right.
younger people who
Well.
might have different interests, they might have different feeling when
Mm-hmm.
they know a
Mm-hmm.
lot about the outside world. So it's not just the I emphasize the part, like, it's not just development that we have seen right now, but it's about taking care of people
Mm-hmm.
well-being,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
understanding their need. And back to
Mm-hmm.
your point,
Mm-hmm.
that make us
Wanted to
less
leave,
stressful
less
and
stress.
then want to stay in the city, because every city, I believe, going through the same development path, but
Mm.
only those who are wide enough to get I would say the input from different country, lesson
Mm-hmm.
learned, and
Right.
input from expert, and we could make the city a
Mm-hmm.
livable city for all. That
Wow.
that I believe that is important.
We'll
Yep.
probably would take you to join with the policy making team. Just kind of get your all your recommendations and make the city become a better place.
Just an
Thanks.
opinion as the
Opinion. Yeah. Yeah.
citizen. I believe
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
will want to have the same living condition. I
Yeah.
mean, at
Well,
least.
I hope everyone can catch up with our chronological order. I'm trying to, stick to the topic, the journey from Siem Reap to the capital cities, and then we haven't been to Australia yet. And I'm staying in the city. And as you just heard, I've just asked Nisai about the challenges when he first moved to the city, and yeah, you just have heard some interesting thing, but I also wanted our young people to learn something, especially those who just graduated from your high school. I know that today you got your result, and whether you pass or you fail, some people just decided to come to the city for your education, furthering your education, or to get a job, or just do something the next chapter of your life. So by listening to your senior, and I believe it come to your benefits. And I haven't finished asking Nisai more questions. I'm just getting more excited. Even though it's late at night right now, but I still feel like some energy, when I get to hear more from Nisai. Nisai, if you compare 15 years ago and now, do you see yourself you are doing what you were hoping to do?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, when I came, I had different feeling. Like I wanted to be a public servant,
Mm,
working in local community, working with people, serving people, and so. But after that, I developed myself into a writing community as the
mm-hmm,
journalist. I started my job as the translator, international
mm-hmm,
translator. But after that,
mm-hmm,
I became more interested in the writing, becoming a journalist, and then editor, and then now I am operating a small newsroom, the English
mm,
newsroom, as editor in chief. So that's what I have seen, the trajectories of my own personal
mm,
development and professional development. And then it proved that it is not it's about sticking to one particular plan, but it's about how you
Mm.
become pliable or flexible enough to
Yes.
move, because
Yes.
life is always uncertain and unpredictable. But
Mm-hmm.
you understand that you always can go with the flow, and you can do best when you try, especially understand yourself, understand your need, and then
Yes.
your goal. And keep in mind that you can do anything. I believe anything. When I mean anything, I know that you already understand your strength and weakness, your
Mm-hmm.
limitation, and so on. So you try to seek help if you could not do it alone. I mean, everything has its own solution. So
Mm-hmm.
trying to understand that and make sure you understand yourself well, because it is about how you develop yourself from one point to another. You see your future better than anyone, and
Mm-hmm.
then give yourself a try. If you still have doubt, it is simple, because everyone have, even me myself, a lot of things happening. But I know that I'm going to go through it, navigate through it, and of course do my best.
Wow. That's awesome. Great to hear. Hey, let's tap into writing. I have followed your posts and I have noticed your okay, your passion. That's what I meant to say. Passion, 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 passion. I wanted to know why passion. Why you are so passionate about writing. Um, I may have some opinions about writing. People may not know you, but your professional writing, you can articulate, you can express well about you. People may not know you, but they know you through your writing. And sorry, a little bit jump a bit early. I know it's too early to say that you were selected as one of the leading journalists or news correspondent, and you were selected by this special, I don't know, the embassy, the U.S. embassy, to come to Sunnyland many years ago. But that was all related to writing. I would say your achievement in writing is just outstanding, impressive. But please tell us why you're so passionate about writing. Do you see like writing can bring great impacts to society, or it's just a hobby, or it's just people may have different flavor or preference. But yeah, what about you, Nisai? Why are you so passionate about writing?
Well, like you mentioned earlier about that, you say that writing is powerful, and I know it is really powerful, and I won't believe it, and then I'm believing in it, and then I will always believe that writing is powerful. You can actually influence for a positive change in whatever, like community, people your own networks, and everyone who read your piece might got something from what you want to convey, because it's not just about writing anything, but with information, with evidence, with message you want to convey. For example, that most of the time, well, I think I started being passionate about international relations. I wrote most of the things about international relations, foreign affairs, regional affairs, so on and so forth. But after that, I started to be more interested in climate change, focusing more on like climate finance, climate action, and after that on the impact of climate change. But
Mm-hmm.
in terms of human interest story that I could sing about, and then
Mm-hmm.
start
Mm-hmm.
jot it down and develop it into a writing. Of course, news writing is
Mm-hmm.
different from fictional writing because they have their own way. And then I keep writing opinion pieces that
Mm-hmm.
include this kind of idea in it, and I see the impact. I see the positive response from
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
I think many
Mm-hmm.
still see like and share on social media. View counts as the metric of
Mm-hmm.
considering whether your writing is popular or not. But I read books on writing, and I read several books on why being a writer, you
Mm-hmm.
don't need to give a damn on on this kind of metric, because you know that you still have a lot of people who want to read your piece,
Mm.
regardless of how many share, how many like you actually get on social media. But keep doing your best, writing, if you like, you need to keep doing it,
Mhm.
practicing as much as you can, and then think of something that you want to convey. You want people to think about it, and
Mhm.
you want people to take it into account, and of course take action.
Mhm.
That I always keep this in mind. I always tell people whom I know about this kind of impacts that I could make, and I believe they also have the same practice, and they see the same result. And
Mhm.
and and
Mhm.
and the powerful thing is, doesn't mean you need to change things, but at
Mhm.
least you bring knowledge to people. At the end of the day, it's about knowledge, and it's about conveying a message of what
Mhm.
you want to. But some people also use this writing, but I also do it once in a while, because you cannot tell everyone everything, right? Sometimes
Right.
you
Right.
have a
Right.
grief, you have a bad time,
Mhm.
you have
Mhm.
a thought, a story that you could not tell anyone, because nobody will be willing to listen to everything
Mhm.
you want to share with them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Jot it down on a book or whatever,
Okay.
your diary, or maybe a piece that you want to write. Just you express
Mhm.
all you
Mhm.
think, all you feel inside. That
Yeah.
help you heal sometimes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
believe, because I talk to people who have
Mhm.
the same issue. They do the same. I mean, that's how people get to heal,
Mhm.
using
Mhm.
writing.
Mhm.
But for me, most of the time, it's about conveying the message,
Okay.
bringing knowledge to people,
Right.
of course,
Mhm. I
impacts
understand that.
that would
Yep.
help
Yep.
them
Yep.
understand. Yeah,
Are you going to write a book?
that's my. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure I can do it. But back to the points that we can do anything, right?
Okay.
But
Yep.
for
Mhm.
now, I'm thinking of the problem is that you might get lost and feel like feel kind of uncertain.
Mm.
What kind of topic are you going to write
Right.
about?
Right. That's
What
what I'm
way?
going to
Yep.
ask you. That if you
Yeah.
were to write a book, what would that book about?
Well, there's a lot of things that come to my mind when I
Mhm.
talk about writing a book. First, it is on my own interest. For
Mhm.
example,
Mhm.
I have been working on climate change,
So you would write
so
something about
anything on
climate
climate
change, right?
change.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I try to figure out what kind of content that I'm going to write about, whether
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
is a
Mhm.
fictional writing or it is academic writing. For
Yeah.
example, like doing research on
Yep.
climate change.
Yep.
But it's really a challenging part.
Okay.
Once you get to decide, then you might know what you need to go next.
Yep. Yep.
But because of my degree is in Asian Pacific study, I'm not sure, but I'm not sure I can do it. But back to the points that we can do anything, right?
Okay.
But
Yep.
for
Mhm.
now, I'm thinking of the problem is that you might get lost and feel like feel kind of uncertain.
Mm.
What kind of topic are you going to write
Right.
about?
Right. That's
What
what I'm
way?
going to
Yep.
ask you. That if you
Yeah.
were to write a book, what would that book about?
Well, there's a lot of things that come to my mind when I
Mhm.
talk about writing a book. First, it is on my own interest. For
Mhm.
example,
Mhm.
I have been working on climate change,
So you would write
so
something about
anything on
climate
climate
change, right?
change.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I try to figure out what kind of content that I'm going to write about, whether
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
is a
Mhm.
fictional writing or it is academic writing. For
Yeah.
example, like doing research on
Yep.
climate change.
Yep.
But it's really a challenging part.
Okay.
Once you get to decide, then you might know what you need to go next.
Yep. Yep.
But because of my degree is in Asian Pacific study,
Mhm.
sometimes I
Mhm.
get involved with the writing
Yep.
history
Yep.
and
Yep.
cultural issue and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then I feel like, okay, maybe some sort of cultural aspects would be interesting as well
Yep.
for me.
Yep.
And I like meeting people, interviewing people, especially older people. So thinking of
Right.
cultural aspect will
Yep.
be important. I just want to emphasize, because before I went to Australia, under my company project, we also wrote a books on the
Mm.
Guardian of Ongo. So
Oh.
I'm helping.
Wow.
So I was helping with the content creation, like
Oh.
meeting all the older people who have been considered as the guardian, being
Oh.
a
Okay.
temple cleaner,
Right. Right. Right.
handicraft
Right.
a producer, and so on. So we got the books. So that also inspired me that, okay, maybe uh, trying to present what people never know before, or maybe under discussed story, like
Yep.
not many people come to understand and discuss about it.
Mm-hmm.
Discuss it, sorry,
Yep.
should be important.
Yep. Yep.
And then it was exposing, I believe.
Wow. Wow. Yes. Nisa, you may not realize this, but you have influence. You have influenced people through your writing. By that I mean people. There are people who read your writing. They believe your wisdoms. They believe your knowledge, and there are people out there, many, I would say. So whatever you write something, there are people who, what I wanted to say is they watch, so watch out what you write. Watch out, you bring impact. That's influence, right? To me, that's impact. You can get to the heart of man. You can write something because they believe in you, and your achievement reveal. You have been to an international stage, to the UN, taking reports, news report. You got your master degree in Australia, and the Australian government gave you scholarship. So all of these academic achievement and professional ones takes you to another level, that there are people around you are watching you. So whatever you write, if you can think of something to contribute to the social development, whether it's even bring some encouragement to the young people, that's really really beneficial. So I know right now you're thinking of writing something. I'm hoping that the element or components that you will insert it into your piece of writing will be great benefits to the others. I know it's been taking you from Siem Reap to Phnom Penh, and we have been to the next two places which I really want to close right now. Yes, Nisa, you've been selected to Australia for your master degree, and you have also been selected to the UN and to meet with other world leaders, to represent your company, your news institution. I'd like to know, what did you do that becoming to make you outstanding? Why you were selected to come to this? Even your master degree, and to the UN, and to meet some ASEAN leaders. But what tell us some
Yeah.
tips. Tell us, like, how did you do it?
Yep. Sangbong, I think the two, one is a master degree scholarship, and another one is a fellowship program.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say both has actually have to go through all the rigorous selection process.
Mm-hmm.
First is application, and after that there's a interview for the final stage. Like you have to go through the interview before you will be considered as the finalist for the sponsorship. For the master degree in Australia, I think there might not be many things that we need to have, but first of all is that you give yourself a courage to try. As long as you try, then you know what way you need to go after that.
Mm-hmm.
Because many people want to get it, I believe, have a chance to study
Mm-hmm.
abroad, but I think a few of them might be taking action because
Mm.
there's a lot of process that need to be involved. For example, like studying application. The first one, I mean, the first attempt is going to be very painful because you need to have everything.
Mm.
You need to prepare everything from scratch. So it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be a lot of work to do.
Mm.
But after you get it done, then it's gonna be easy for the next round. If you're not selected, but if you are selected for the first attempt, it's gonna be great. Then you don't need to care about the second one. But first is that you need to try. You need to
Mm-hmm.
give yourself a
Mm-hmm.
try,
Mm-hmm.
and then do your best to prepare your
Mm-hmm.
application. then I know that you all understand that there are different requirements, different different ways of understanding a scholarship because the different requirement that I mentioned earlier. So you need to understand that whether it is Chevening, it is Australian award, it is a Japanese scholarship, Chinese scholarship, European Erasmus or Swedish, and so on. So they have different requirements. So understand the scholarship is
Right.
your work, but
Right.
first of all, you need to start your application, and
Did
then
you ask any of your seniors for some guiding?
I think I have a plan, but I had a plan, sorry. And then I got to know some people that used to be a scholarship recipient. And I got to ask them some questions regarding the document, the requirement. And then don't be shy when you want to know information. Just get straight to the
Yeah. Yeah.
people in
Yeah.
charge of the scholarship and
Yep.
asking them
Yep.
what requirement that they need, but make sure that you read and understand it. But the
Mm-hmm.
point that you don't understand it, just read. But if you don't read and then go straight to them, that's another
Mm-hmm.
story. But give yourself a try, understand the scholarship, and after
Mm-hmm.
that, you know how to go after that. But keep in mind that failure is simple. You learn a lot
Mm.
from that.
Yes.
I never get afraid of applying for any chance because I like traveling for free. That's my that's my nature.
Traveling for
So
free.
any program that allow
Mm.
me to travel, I always make use of it to the max. So just let's any scholarship I see, I try,
Yes.
and then
Yep.
if I don't get it, I know it's gonna be an upset moment for you.
Yes.
Going to
Yes.
be a difficult moment to accept, but you know, it didn't take more than 2 days. If it taken 2 days, it's gonna be a problem. But I know that you learn to cope with it, and then you're going to develop your skill. And then for the scholarship, for the fellowship that I got selected for the UN, I think a few months ago,
Mm-hmm.
a long term it's a long a process as well.
Yes.
It take around half year for the
Wow.
whole for the whole program, for the whole process to come to an end. For example, they announce the program, and after that it takes several months before it release the result of the application, and after that you need to go through the interview. But because of the budget cut, the UN also faced financial difficulty. They run this year the first hybrid program, so both I needed to be both in person and online. So it was really challenging for us,
Wow.
traveling back and forth, doing our
Wow.
work, getting to file a story, because it is not a program that you just sit and listen, but you practice your skill producing a story. Because I had to say there's no free lunch, because it is it is normal, because if they sponsor you to a program, regardless of how capable you are, you need to produce something. You need
Right.
to do something that
Yes.
could teach them, okay, we are impressed by your work. You are the right person or the right candidate for us. So
Yes.
demonstrating that you are
Yes.
capable doing the
Yes.
work,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
you give a chance to next generation. For example, like use
Yep.
journalists from Cambodia who want to apply next year, they know, okay, the previous candidate have done their best, so we will consider the next candidate from Cambodia. So you don't
Wow.
actually close
Wow.
the door for the next candidate. So you try to do your best, then you will give another chance to the people
That's
who want
awesome.
to be a part of the next cohort. That I believe. That's why I work
Mm-hmm.
hard during every
Working hard. Yes.
fellowship I attended. Then because I'm afraid that that's gonna be a risk for the next cohort of not getting selected. Yep.
Wow. Wow, everyone! Right now, I think we have been hearing Nisai sharing with us from the journey from Siem Reap to Phnom Penh, some challenges, and then he has shared some tips and his commitment and discipline, and also some sort of writing passion, that he has. Yeah, this just to me it's just impressive, to see how he commit himself to improving, the skill he has. Because the time of our podcast coming to the end right now, I like to wrap these things up. but I also wanna ask Nisai to kind of, you know, say something about being a scholar. I don't know if I'm correctly use the term scholar. I mean, in Khmer it's Spanish one, right? Nisai's got a master degree, and I have two bachelor degree. I don't know whether I myself can call myself Spanish one or scholar. I like to ask Nisai really this question. Do you see yourself as a scholar? I mean, if you do or you don't, if you do, what are some of the things that you think can make some difference in our country from being a scholar? Or what does it mean to be a scholar? Somebody who know a lot of things. I mean, I don't know. I have not really articulate my thoughts about this, but you know, what what do you see yourself as a scholar? What does it mean to you, and how can you bring this into the benefit of our country? Did you get my question?
Yeah, I think I got your question, but I think the term scholars seem to be a bit, I'm not sure, but
Mm-hmm.
people who are highly educated.
Mm-hmm.
So by what standard do we actually access the highly educated? So
Mm-hmm.
we all have education.
Yeah.
So I believe we got a bachelor degree, we got master degree, and then some people get the PhD. So I think it depends, but if
Mm-hmm.
you consider yourself scholar,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just about knowledge, but your behavior, your characteristics might
Mm.
say a lot about you. And then I
Mm-hmm.
think it should take that into account, because if you
Interesting.
are a scholar, you have knowledge, you are very influential
Mm.
academically, but
Mm-hmm.
after
Mm-hmm.
that you don't have a good characteristic. You don't
Mm.
do good enough to protect the interests of the public, to defend what is right, then I believe the term scholar might not be suitable for them.
So
I
it's
mean, that's what
encompass
I believe.
all of those
Yeah,
traits too, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
But
that makes
if
sense.
we talk about only high education, it might be. It depends. Like, for me personally, I believe it should
Encompass all of those area.
encompass the
Yes.
characteristic
That's
in
interesting.
addition to the ability to whatever, to think, to
Mm.
write, to read as a scholar, to
Okay.
have a good knowledge that would
Yes.
be
Yes.
shared to the
Yep.
people. But at the same time, do it right. I mean,
Yes.
only
Yes.
people have knowledge, but it
Yes.
doesn't guarantee that they will do it right.
I'm
So I
glad you know
have a
this. I'm
yeah,
glad, Nisai, you
yeah,
can spot
yeah.
things like this. Nisai, uh, I don't call myself a scholar right now, but I know I wanted to prepare myself to be the future scholar, to have something that you have a positive influence, to have especially the young people. I do have some great passion, about youth development, and that's why I have created this podcast, youth and development, and talking, sharing. Nisai, I know it's been almost an hour more than what I
Can
thought. Go
well,
ahead.
can I add a little bit? Like,
Sure.
of course, like being a scholar, you can do a lot more with your
Mm-hmm.
knowledge, with your understanding, with
Mm-hmm.
your
Mm-hmm.
skill and
Yeah.
expertise. But I think it doesn't require to be a scholar to do a thing that matter to other people.
That's
I
true.
think many people
That's true.
just
Yes.
they don't actually earn higher
Yeah.
degree. They
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
have a strong characteristic.
Yeah.
They are kind. They help people.
Yep.
They do
Yep.
anything
Yep.
in their capacity to help
Mm-hmm.
people. So I think being a scholar is not the end goal of
Okay.
everyone, but
Yes. Yep.
being a good citizen, trying to do your work
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
try your best
Yeah.
to make sure that you don't hurt the other, you don't create any problem for society,
Yeah.
and then do your work. I mean, if you have
Mm-hmm.
income, if you can do good, that's all. I mean,
Wow.
this is
Yeah. Yep.
the important thing that most of us need
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
our societies. We don't need to be successful just to live our life, because the more we try to think about the high success,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
whatever ambitious goal, I think we create more problem than we create a better condition for everyone.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an enlightenment to me. When I call it an enlightenment, it's just, you're right. You don't really have to be a scholar to make a difference in your society. That's good, Nisai.
But
Thank
this
you.
is the knowledge is
Yeah,
important. I
yeah.
think you don't need to earn a degree, but you can actually gain the knowledge
Mm-hmm.
from everywhere,
Right.
reading and stuff. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Wow. Thank you very much, Nisai,
Thank
for
you, Bo. Thank you for your.
staying for the last almost the last 60 minutes, for the podcast. Nisai, do you have any last words, I mean, encouraging message to the young people, especially those who just graduated from the high school? Any word you can look back to 15 years ago, when you first moved here? What is your encouraging message for them?
I think most of the young people I met now and I know now, they are very capable. They are very knowledgeable,
Mm-hmm.
technologically, and also in many other areas that I was really impressed by that. And I know that because I work with many young people in my newsroom, and then
Mm-hmm.
I also communicate with them quite often as well without people outside, younger people. I really understand how society change and their ability to develop quickly and learn.
Mm-hmm.
But the one important thing that I would say, most of us, not just young people, but how we develop our resilience, because
Mm-hmm.
resilience is important. It might
Yes.
be a common word that most people want to always say about, but
Mm-hmm.
I think develop our resiliency is really
Mm-hmm.
crucial for us, especially young people. Don't back up so fast, but
Mm-hmm.
trying to
Mm-hmm.
develop and cope with difficulty,
Mm-hmm.
trying to develop your skill and stuff, and then know that life is tough and rough, and yeah, and then try
Resilient.
to do your
Wow.
best. Yeah,
Wow.
resilient, and
Resilient.
then I
That's a
think
good term.
another one, yeah, another point I believe, trying to understand other people. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
being understanding.
Yes.
Yes, try to be people who are very understanding, and then
Mm-hmm.
know other people condition. Try to put ourselves in other people's shoe.
Shoes.
Not
Whoa.
just young. It's not just young,
Yes.
but
Yes.
many people right now. I know that you are busy living your life,
Mm-hmm.
making
Mm-hmm.
money, and
Mm-hmm.
doing your work. You don't care about other people situation. But if you try to care a little bit, maybe you might see
Mm-hmm.
something different from other people. We
Right.
all are bad in someone eye, and then we all have our own negative parts. So we don't need to be judgmental in that case. Like trying to understand if we
Mm-hmm.
could
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you know why people become like that,
Mm-hmm.
and this and that, and it might change our perspective every day. Like at least you see people from different perspective.
Mm. That's
But
awesome.
it's important for living together,
Mm-hmm.
for people work
Mm-hmm.
together, so you don't feel frustrated every morning going to work, helping your colleague. And well, I'm not saying that it's common, but it's about understanding. I mean, that's what I believe the two important thing. I know
Yes.
that people are trying hard right now.
Yes.
They know how to develop their skill. They know how
Yes.
to learn, but this 2 point might be overlooked by many as well.
You mean resilient and
And then be understanding, be
be
kind and stuff.
understanding,
Yeah,
okay, of other
yeah.
people. Okay,
I'm
wow.
not saying that I'm not sure if I speak it right, but understanding. I mean, being understanding in communication, in interaction,
Yeah.
in friendship, in comradeship or whatever. But it's just
Congrats.
like it's just like keep it in mind that you need to keep this,
Open
and then you
mind,
reflect.
open
Yeah,
mind.
open-minded may be another term, but
Hmm.
it's not about open-minded alone, but
It's
how
more,
you keep yourself.
I
Yeah,
know you're trying to give a
yeah,
lot of this like
yeah. Keep
understanding
yeah,
about
yeah.
others, social
Understand
life.
other.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So
just
I
bring
think that's the
yourself to
two.
the
Yeah,
extrovert, not only introvert.
yeah,
Go out
yeah,
and make network and talk to people and learn and yeah,
yeah,
I don't know what how to
yeah.
describe it, but thank Nisai very much, and I'm hoping that this almost 1 hour podcast, the interview dialogue that I have with Nisai come to your benefits, and some of you may want to be who Nisai is right now. But hey, you know, with this digital world and resources around you, aim shoot the moon. You know, you can be better than Nisai, be better than me, be better than someone that you are looking up to. Just do your best like Nisai. And you have already heard about the journey from Nisai from Siem Reap coming to the city, not his hometown, came lots of challenges. He beat it, overcome, and then he moved on, get into the press sector, and then got the scholarship reward, come to Australia, and then all of this achievement, I believe, through life, you can achieve this. I know Nisai can do it. We all can do it, you know, and I can do it. I can do it. You can do it. Everyone can do this, you know. And thank you very much. And we are hoping to making other podcasts to help you grow and learn. All right. So you have a wonderful, well, wonderful what? Wonderful night. See you with the next podcast. Bye bye now. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Chum
you.
Ripley.
Well, really well.